The 500K gamble that created a media empire, intro. Picture this. It's 1963. The Cold War has put the world on ice. The civil rights movement is rewriting American society, and 4 lads from Liverpool are about to launch a British invasion. But in the small town of Tupelo, Mississippi, a different kind of revolution was brewing. It wasn't loud, and it definitely wasn't televised. It all started with a handshake and a $500,000 bet on a technology most people didn't get, let alone want. This is the story of how 3 partners and 1 wild gamble on a tiny cable system snowballed into the multi-billion-dollar empire we now know as Comcast. This wasn't just some casual investment, it was a roll of the dice that could have ended in utter financial ruin. $500,000, an almost unimaginable sum at the time, was poured into a system serving just 1,200 homes in Tupelo. The man writing the check was Ralph J. Roberts, whose family had lost everything in the Great Depression. That experience, he said, left him with a deep-seated terror of being broke. So what does he do? He leaves a stable career in men's accessories to chase a crazy idea that people would actually pay for clear television. This one bet would either be his greatest mistake or the masterstroke that would build a media dynasty and change how we watch, well, everything. Section 1. The 3 founders and the grind. The Comcast story doesn't kick off with a flash of genius, but with gritty, quiet determination. Ralph Roberts was the visionary, a man haunted by his family's past and driven to build something that would last. But he knew he couldn't do it alone. He brought in 2 key partners, Julian Brodsky, the numbers guy who could make the deals work, and Daniel Aaron, the operations guru who handled the dirty work of stringing up cables and connecting homes. Together in 1963, they started a little company called American Cable Systems. Their game plan was simple but relentless: grow by buying. They started with that 200 subscriber system in Tupelo and just started gobbling up other small mom-and-pop cable outfits across the country. By 1969, they rebranded the company to Comcast, a mashup of communications and broadcast, and incorporated in Pennsylvania. They took the company public in 1972, raising the cash they needed to keep expanding. The early days were an absolute grind. While others were chasing flashy new ventures, the Comcast crew was focused on the unglamorous job of building infrastructure. They just kept methodically buying up franchises. In 1977, they took a smart risk, offering HBO to 20,000 customers in western Pennsylvania. After a free preview, 15% of them signed up, proving the model worked. A pivotal moment came in 1986 when they bought a stake in Group W Cable, doubling their subscriber base to 1 million overnight. That same year, Roberts showed his knack for spotting a winner by becoming a founding investor in a little startup called QVC. This wasn't about getting big for the sake of it. It was about laying a foundation, brick by painstaking brick, for the empire to come. Section 2. The empire emerges. If the early days were the grind, the 90s and 2000s were when the grinder became a giant. In 1990, Ralph Roberts passed the presidency to his son, Brian L. Roberts, who literally started his career with the company climbing poles and installing cable. Brian had his father's ambition, but he cranked it up to 11, leading Comcast through a series of deals that would transform the industry. The biggest of them all was the monster acquisition of AT&T Broadband in 2002. For a jaw-dropping $44.5 billion, Comcast bought its largest rival, instantly becoming the biggest cable company in the United States, with over 22 million subscribers. It was a stunning power play that didn't just put them at the top of the industry, it made them the undisputed king of the hill. With this new scale, Comcast started to innovate. It wasn't just about TV signals anymore. The company poured money into its high-speed internet service, first launched back in 1996, and rolled out new features like video on demand and HD channels. But the real masterstroke was the triple play package, bundling cable, internet and phone service for a single price. This strategy was revolutionary. It created a sticky ecosystem that made it a hassle for customers to leave. and it massively boosted the amount of money they made from each home. The empire wasn't just expanding outward, it was sinking its roots deeper, making itself an essential part of the modern American home. Section 3. The modern behemoth and its new gambles. Today, Comcast is a global media and tech titan, with revenues topping $121 billion in 2023. But that risk-it-all spirit from the original $500,000 gamble is far from dead. It's just been scaled up and is now playing out in two very different arenas. The brutal cash-burning world of streaming and the steady, reliable engine of business services. On one side, you have Peacock, the company's answer to the cord-cutting that's eating away at its old-school cable business. Peacock is a multi-billion-dollar bet on the future. By the end of 2023, the service had grown to 31 million paid subscribers, fueled by big-ticket items like the NFL, Premier League Soccer, and a massive 11-year, $2.5 billion per-year deal for exclusive NBA games starting in 2025. But this growth has come at a breathtaking cost. Peacock lost a staggering $2.75 billion in 2023 alone, and executives have admitted this was the year of peak losses. It's a high-wire act, a gargantuan bet on content that echoes the company's founding risk, but on a global stage with billions on the line. On the other side, Comcast has quietly built a hugely profitable machine in Comcast Business. This division provides the digital backbone for millions of businesses, from the corner coffee shop to major corporations. Here, the game isn't about splashy content, it's about bulletproof reliability. The company is in the midst of a 10G network evolution to bring multi-gig symmetrical speeds across its network, while also rolling out cybersecurity services like Security Edge to protect its business clients from online threats. This division is the bedrock of the modern Comcast, stable, high-tech, and laser-focused on growth by providing the one thing every modern business needs: rock-solid connectivity. A legacy of calculated risk. From a single cable line in Mississippi to a sprawling global powerhouse, the Comcast story is a 60-year lesson in taking calculated risks. Ralph Roberts' original $500,000 bet was born from a fear of losing it all, and it ended up building an empire. His son, Brian, inherited that DNA, supersizing the company with audacious moves for AT&T broadband and later NBCUniversal. Today, that same spirit defines the company. It's staring down some serious challenges: fierce competition in broadband, the steady drip of losing over 2 million traditional TV subscribers in 2023, and the enormous pressure to finally make Peacock profitable. And yet, it's also a company that generates billions in free cash flow, is seeing explosive growth in its wireless division, and powers a huge chunk of the American economy. The original question, will people pay for clear TV, has been answered. Now, a new, far more complex gamble has taken its place. Can a legacy giant pivot to a streaming-first world while defending its turf in the connectivity wars? The bet is bigger, the stakes are higher, and this time the whole world is watching. What do you think is Comcast's biggest fight ahead? The streaming wars or the battle for broadband? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next one. Thanks for watching.